Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of HelioPsychosis podcast. This is your host Vikka Draziv. Welcome, guys. If you're watching us from YouTube, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And you can also join as a member of the channel if you want to support what we do here and encourage us to continue with our shows. You can even have an option to join us as a member. So it's not about the quantity; it's about the intention. So all collaboration is welcome for the channel to go ahead. And if you're watching us from Platten, how do you say, Fern Platten Research Network group or HelioPsychosis group, welcome, guys, and do comment, tag your friends to join the show. And if you're gonna comment, do allow StreamYard to show your name, because if you comment, we can see your comment, but we cannot see your name. So please make sure you do that if you're watching us from Facebook. And finally, if you're watching us from realtruthseekers.com or realtruthseekers.net, welcome, guys. We have a huge community there. And so, jumping on with our guest tonight, we don't have a special guest, but it's our team. So, from HelioPsychosis Group, it's my co-host, Jeannie, editor. Jeannie, how are you?
Doing great, Vika. What's happening, buddy?
Great, brother. It's nice to have you here. And
Thank you.
then we've got, yes, go ahead.
All right, it's great to be here. Thanks for the invite. We have two of the stars from Flatten the Curve, everybody.
Excellent. And then, yes, one of our stars from Flatten the Curve, our friend Kevin Bobby. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing very blessed. I appreciate you having me on the show today. It is an honor every time you invite me. Sorry I didn't jump on the last one, but yeah, it'll be a fun show. Let's have a good time. We have a lot to talk about, so I do appreciate you guys every way, shape, or form. So thank you again, Vika. Every way, shape, or form, my brother.
Excellent, brother. Nice to have you, like always. And maybe we're gonna having Brett, the aeronautic engineer from Flatten the Curve, maybe joining us a little bit later, and maybe Rob too. So let's see what's. I'm sorry, guys. I have the dogs just going crazy in the background. I hope it's not too much, so I'll be muting sometime. So before we get in the show, just wanted to comment that we remember that few weeks back we did a show with the submarine guy, and that video was taken down by YouTube, and I got a warning. So just 2 days back, Eddie's channel, the show from Gregory Lessinger that we did was an awesome show for 3 hours, and that was taken from Eddie's channel, and he got a strike, and he told me, so I also had to take it down. So it's really sad to know that on YouTube you cannot do any. Yep, and on YouTube we cannot do anything other than flat Earth, and
Did they
it's
give you a
crazy. It's
reason
like
for
that.
taking? Did they give you a reason for taking Gregory's show down?
There's
No,
a
I took it down
message.
because there's a lot of stuff in the one we did with Gregory.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but what was so controversial that they got on you now?
Yeah, and the best part is we were speaking in codes. We didn't even use the hard words.
It clicks and beeps.
So, oops,
Oh,
we're having
that's out
some
of
distortion in the sound. Oops.
Yeah, do you hear that?
Is someone eating a bag of chips?
No, that's the cabal trying to interrupt what we're trying to do.
Wow,
Yeah, so
I just can't
it's
believe
crazy that.
Yeah, I'm in shock because I thought that was. Yeah, we touched on a lot of like weird subjects, maybe, but nothing was. I didn't think was out of control at all.
Well, not for the average mind, maybe, but you know what I mean? Like, even for me specifically, like the way you even ended it, Jeannie, you were like, holy moly, my mind's blown. And I felt the same way after that podcast. I was like, wow, like I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So I don't, you know what
suppose.
I mean? They're just being haters, just trying to take down the channel. It's all good. I give dubs to Vikka for even having it on there.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and this is the thing, and the best part, we try to keep it like really low and not using the hard words, and they still detected it. So it's like they were really on it because
Right.
it was one of the most awesome show we had. All
Oh,
shows
hands
were
down.
amazing, but this one was that
Ah,
was we covered so many things. It was 3 hours, and we had to just stop, and
yeah.
it finally is taken down, and and Eddie really got a strike for that.
Oh
So
man.
we gotta really take care because this is the thing, we don't want to lose the channel because of this. So the sad part is that we cannot do anything other than flat Earth on YouTube. And speaking about this theme, RTS, we are looking forward that RTS is trying to we are trying with RTS to do that, add a feature to do streamings directly with StreamYard on RTS without YouTube or any Facebook in the middle. So if that would be possible in the coming future, the team is working on it. So maybe it could be a couple of weeks that it could be possible. If that happens, that could be great because we have to do maybe just one show for RTS, and there we could everybody could just speak everything, and nobody can. There's no big brothers who gonna be censoring us there. So we could discuss
Wow.
almost everything there. So we're just looking forward from realtruthseekers.com rts.video that we make this happen as soon as possible, because there are many other people who are getting really, like, they are censoring them hard, and they're taking out video and giving strikes and warnings. And so it's high time that RTS, everybody really realize what RTS is. It's like a blessing for the people who really want. There is something. At least there is. We are like, okay, we don't have YouTube. They're censoring Facebook, whatever. But there's nothing. But at least there's one hope. When there's no hope, and then there is only one hope. That's one of the biggest hope, and I think that's RTS. So we're gonna make our best that people understand that, and really appreciate that. So welcome to the show, guys. So today we wanted to discuss about a video we just saw today, 6 hours before, right? Kevin, right? Gene?
Yeah,
6
we already
hours. Yeah.
debunked how many weeks ago?
This guy's crazy, man.
Oh man. So
So
maybe we can link the video we're talking about at the end of the
Yeah.
conversation today,
That's a
so
good
everybody
idea.
can get a chance to see that.
but
It's
yeah,
about
but
11
if
minutes.
anybody wants to so okay, so we can just it's the 6 hours before this pilot who was supposed to do that flight from Buenos Aires to Perth finally released a video. We were thought he was going to do something on 20th, that he's going to do some flight, but he just came out with a video. And the best part is the title of the video is like, to $1.5 million to prove flat Earth. That's the title of the
150,000.
video. No, it's
1.5.
1,400,000.
Yeah,
Okay, so okay,
499.
Yeah,
okay, okay.
Guy's out of his
and
mind.
so
What a joke.
and what he's doing actually, he's asking flat earthers to look for $1.5 million that he can organize a flight, that he being a pilot, he's not even gonna fly. He's just gonna be uh, a passenger, normal passenger like everybody else. He wants to document it. He wants to make a documentary out of it, and he wants the flat earthers to pay $1,400,000 by providing his credential that he is a pilot, and showing a line from Buenos Aires to Perth on a globe on Google Earth, and with that information, he wants $1.5 million from flat earthers. Oh, very nice try, Mr. Casey.
Yeah, right. I'm not budgeting for that.
But how long ago did he say he was going to do this? And how long did it take him to get to today? From when he said, "I'll do this,
He
I'll
says,
fly it."
yeah, he was speaking about last year, and then he did something, and now he did this. So
Right. Yeah. He
he's
went
just
off.
speaking
He went
until now.
incognito for like 6 or 8 months, didn't he? Nobody could find him. And then he came up with that video. How long ago was that last video? Not the one from today, from the one previous to that when he said, "I'll do it."
From 2021.
Well, what took him so long? I don't understand.
No, because
And
last year he was okay. We're gonna plan this. We're gonna do this year. He was also the same. We're gonna plan this. But now again, he's come. He set up a date for 20th October
in
that he's giving
October,
time for everybody to to look for the money that he wants to organize by just providing nothing,
no, what's he
nothing, and
providing? A
how
full seat in a row. He's not even going to fly a plane. That's crazy. What do we need him for at that point? So it's, for what? Cameraman.
Director, I guess. I guess it's Stanley Kubrick in this situation.
Right, because that's his profession, right? Cameraman and movies and stuff. I don't know. The guy's deflecting. He should be trying to organize this. And is it to prove what? The Earth's flat or curved? What are we shooting for here?
no, he's saying that, okay, that he's saying that that's not the flight route what he's showing. He's just showing more or less how it's gonna go. The flight depends on the people who's gonna make the flight path. So even don't you don't even have a flight path, you don't have a flight plan. He just have an estimate of $1.5 million that he wants flat earthers to pay to him to prove that the earth is not flat, right?
I don't need any proof personally. I think they got to prove the curve. I've seen enough proof personally that I don't believe them. I don't see a curve ever anywhere in what they say and what they provide.
I smell controlled opposition, SIA operative, psyop. Honestly, I
Yeah,
sent you
something's
guys a
going on
picture
here.
earlier. This guy's wearing 3 stripes on each one of his shoulders, 3 and 3. It's like, dude, if he can
Nice.
decode the symbolism, it's like, dude, this guy's a POS in my book. Whatever.
That's a
Oh yeah,
good
you can
pickup
see in
there,
his
Kevin.
face in the video that he's lying. You can see his face
Oh,
because if you really
exactly.
listen to him,
It's very
if you really
scripted.
listen to him, he really mentions, it's difficult to prove some things. It's not we're gonna go look into something where it's engineers and all this stuff. We're gonna look into more
Yeah.
basic thing, flight. So he's really avoiding the engineers and the professional.
Yeah, being used as a pawn. This little, like I said, controlled a SIA operative. He
I
holds
wonder how
no
much.
merit.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much momentum he has personally.
Like I
If
said before,
No,
go ahead.
he have around 800,000 subscribers. I don't think none of them are flat earthers, but he wants to do a kickstart. How do you call that? Go fund
yeah,
kickstart for one
GoFundMe,
and a half
right?
million. Yeah,
So, so he has 800,000 subscribers, but he's depending on us flat earthers to fund it for him. Oh, that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. That makes sense. So he can make the money, and yeah. But who the hell is gonna give him that money?
I'm not budgeting for it. That's for damn sure.
Nah, either side is going to have a problem raising the money, I think, and coordinating it all is very difficult. There's too many different people
Yeah,
involved, and this guy ought to be spearheading this thing, and he's kind of like, you do it, I'll do it, you do it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be a passenger.
Yeah, well, who needs you?
yeah. Because he's saying we are not doing so. He's gonna do it, and he want us to pay. That's the thing. That's the funny part.
That smells like a scam to begin with. Do you know what I mean? It's like GoFundMe for something that you're going to get nothing for it. Here's some good directing and some good editing and some good actors, and that's about it. Like, this guy's not going to get anything out of it besides that. Like,
And you heard him that saying also. Even if you are on the flight, you have no right to say anything. You're nothing. You're just gonna be there and look outside the window. You're not gonna have any lines in the in the documentary.
Yeah, that
So
he wants to provide. So
exact
he
genius.
wants to provide the video footage of something that we're supposed to provide the money for, and the coordination behind.
Exactly. Just like you said
Wow,
last podcast,
crazy.
whenever we debunked this before it even happened, Genie was like, well, why doesn't he take one of us credible flat earthers on a flight with him? And then he shows a video of people at the Denver conference, which is Robbie Davidson, D. Marvel, and
Right.
Mark Sargent, like these psyops to begin with. Like, if you wanted to take them on the flight that are already paid off, yeah, that's fine. But if you want to take one of us to do it, it's not going to be the same flight. You know what I mean? They'll probably just fly us into the Bermuda Triangle or something.
A rocket ship.
Yeah, right. A parabolical flight. No golf.
Here's a question. Maybe somebody out there smarter than me could figure out. But the distance between two objects, the shortest distance between two objects is a straight line. So there's got to be a difference between the mileage and the curve of the line and the straight line
Sure.
right off the bat. So is there any way to really calculate that with a definitive answer?
Archimedes, I think, is the one who said that the shortest distance between two objects is
Yeah,
in a straight line.
I think so.
Yeah.
Eureka.
But if you raise an altitude, then the distance changes over a curve, rather, right? These are more questions for Rob Taylor, but
Right. Yeah. Where is Rob tonight? Never mind. We know what Rob's doing.
when you
Busy.
raise in the flight, the distance will change because it's being longer, the parallel lines, rather, for better sake of terms.
That's true. It'll be more
It would be extended. It's like having a small ball on top of a bigger ball. The bigger ball is going to have a bigger line if you flatten it out to a parallel line, correct?
Right. As opposed to like a piece of paper flat with the two ends curved up and down, or well, downwards.
Perfecto.
But there's got to be some sort of formula for that.
I'm sure there's some sort of calculation that we could probably figure out ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're taking
more confidence than me.
We're not taking a plus b squared plus equals c squared. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, the Pythagorean does hold some merit, but we're not taking what's the one? I love not knowing their pseudoscience. MC equals, what is it?
E equals MC squared.
E equals MC squared. That holds no merit. We're not using those.
No, what's funny about that? Because everybody, go ahead and ask 100 people that if they know that equation. I bet you'll get 99.5 people to say yes. And it means nothing in their life, really, kind of, right? Where have you ever been able to apply that equation to your life? And I think it was really designed to hide the 8 inches per mile square equation that you could apply to your life and really understand that does not exist in this world. It doesn't show up. That drop, that curve never shows up anywhere.
I think it's ironic that the origins of the equation that we use comes from Pythagoras, which I've heard, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I've had Masons tell me I'm right, that the origins of the spherical model that we have comes from Pythagoras, and that he invented the Pythagorean theorem, the equation that we use to summarize the 8 inches per mile squared. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I explained to Vikka one time, like he's using the net that they try to cap over us against them. Now they're the bugs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we can use most of their stuff against them too.
Indefinitely. Or definitely.
The only thing that stopped us in the first place was just all the conditioning being
Of
taught by
course.
those people. That's
Yeah,
pretty
and
amazing.
speaking about Pythagoras, yeah, even it was not even his own work, you know. So uh, the original works of that kind of mathematics comes from the ancient Vedic literatures, you know. So even Pythagoras
100%
is
agree.
known as like learning
Plagiarism.
his maths, his maths on the shores of the Ganges rivers, you know, of these Indus rivers of India. So by ancient how you call
What's the
this? Are
book?
you? No,
The
it's not
book
like
is
a one book. It's not like a one book, you know. It's the whole Vedas. The Veda consists of Veda means it's science. You know, you have the science of the plants, you have the science of the sky, you have the science of astronomy, you have science of of different of trigonometry, maths, literature, culture, medicine. So it's different science. So one of the
Real science,
science,
though.
exactly, ancient science, and it's
Yeah.
maths, and it's so most of the even the known the so-called how do you call them from the ancient times, all those academics and all the most of their knowledge comes from the Vedic culture, you know, like they literally give credit to ancient cultures. Emerson, there are many different guys, even Tesla, and many different guys who give that credit to ancient Vedas for that science, you know. So go ahead. I think anybody wants to add something?
Yeah, it kind of tells me that they really know so much more than they're letting us onto. So that tells me that Tesla was kind of just propped up to 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 make us think that yeah we're working on free energy. They already know the free energy is there. They're not working on anything. They know it. Maybe a little bit of reverse engineering involved, but I kind of doubt that. They probably have it all locked up and storm the
Exactly.
Vatican. Yeah, unless that's a bad word.
don't get
Hey
us taken
Robbie,
down, dude. Come
night.
on.
Just wanted to say hello to Robbie who's in the chat. So Robbie, I'm going to send you a StreamYard link. All right, you can join us. I'm going to send you the link right now in the private. And we just got Brett Freeman who's joined us, the aeronautic engineer from Flatten the Curve. Welcome, Brett. How are you?
Not bad, mi amigo. Sorry I was a little late. I was watching the video you sent that you guys were going to be discussing.
What do you think? Go ahead,
Yeah,
comment. I'm
honestly,
going to just pass
honestly,
the link.
I,
Brett, I want to hear from you. What do you think?
I think if they found a way to shorten that 36-hour flight that Qantas
Exactly.
pays for, then by all means, Qantas should jump on it immediately and save millions of dollars.
A
Right,
week.
hours. I mean, they're wasting a lot of money if this guy can just fly over the pole, and that's not happening. Come on, guys, we know better.
And Brett, didn't you mention on the last podcast, whenever we were debunking this, that it's a 22-hour flight?
Yeah, I think the longest flight they have is like 18 hours, which you're stretching it, but they do have planes that will actually go that far, that fast, but not, they're taking legs and they have to land in, the Middle East and all that. It's just, I don't know, it's child's play, man. This is stupid. They even entertain it. And I know we're not in the, do that kind of stuff to other people, but come on, common sense, man.
No, for real, because what's his name? Kelsey. He rounded it up to 30 hours. And if I'm mistaken, you said something, Brett, like 18 or 22 hours, right? Like he's already
Not
overguesstimating to
Challenger.
begin with.
No, he's not flying in the Challenger 22 hours, 30 hours, whatever. I mean, even Qantas on their big boy, I think it's is it was it an A320 800 or a 777 800? I don't remember what birds they were using, but like the longest leg they had was an 18-hour flight, and then they had, obviously a stopover, which is a straight line somewhere in, the Middle East, while traversing further on back to the southern hemisphere onto Australia from Buenos Aires, which would make zero sense if you're already on the bottom half of your little salad bowl or your fish bowl there, the southern hemisphere. You would never go up to go back down. It just doesn't make sense. But go ahead, tell Qantas, because Qantas is wasting a lot of money.
This is all just a show, man. This guy he expects $1.5 million from flat earthers that he wants to do a flight with the information he's giving out. The amount of information he's giving out, that's just absurd. How can he even expect to even ask $1 for what he's showing on Google Earth?
I don't know. I mean, Bill Nye makes money still. That Professor Cox guy still makes money. I mean, they want clowns in the circus, man.
Those guys will not even address us at all in any way.
No,
like we don't exist.
I know, and it's funny because like Bill Nye, even talks about the enclosed system himself years ago.
Yeah,
when it
there's nowhere to go.
Oceans with plastics, and he says you got to understand, this is all you got. You ain't going nowhere. This is an enclosed system, so you got to do a better job of getting these plastics out of the ocean. And now all of a sudden, get paid a little money and you become the entertainment. We're gonna lie, cheat, and steal.
Some people will do anything for money. Unfortunately, not us. Hopefully, right?
No, you'll never see this guy sway back the other way and go, "Oh, it's psyops." This is a controlled opposition. This is all a ruse. It's really a globe spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and waterfalls, fall straight down for some reason.
Yeah, because you also saw. You saw that he also showed that, there's one guy who wanted to give $300,000, some flat earther. Maybe let's see how much we can get this to get this going, because you guys think that somebody could just come ahead and say, you know what, take this $1.5 million and prove that the earth is not flat. Maybe it's not even a flat earther, or maybe it's just a show that they would make, like, yeah, somebody gave us $1.5 million and we are proving that the earth is not flat.
Wouldn't
Who
it be
knows, right?
easier to prove that it's actually a globe if it was in fact spherical? But yet you ask any common person to try to do it without a fisheye lens, without some form of manipulation, and every time it comes back exactly the way that we say it is. You take a picture at the beach, it's level. The light comes straight to the shoreline if you're watching the sunset. I can show you a cresting wave where the light will actually bend with the wave. Everybody's seen the picture.
That's fiber optics.
If the surface is curving, so does the light.
Yeah.
But it comes straight to your feet for a reason, because it's a reflection and not a refraction.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't
Also
know. He lost a lot of credibility with that moron a few years back with the rocket that went like 300 feet, and then
Crazy Dave
beyond the curve little geographic thing where a group of non-believers was the one directing it, cutting and splicing it, and you had even some people who others like us have said are shills, in that documentary, and it's cast a bad light. I've always said, don't do tests over land, because land can be manipulated. Do it over water, but do the test. Show that a laser can be seen a foot off the water 5 miles away.
That guy brings up in his video that we just saw that there's no need for these crazy laser experiments, which I thought was pretty funny, because it's not crazy at all to use something that's perfectly straight.
I saw his verbiage. First thing he said, I plan to use something other than crazy laser experiments. I'm like, man, that's exactly what you do. Because it doesn't, it either is or it isn't. The rest is just verbiage.
Nah, No, laser experiment is beautiful. And how does that not work?
It does. So does a mirror with reflecting light. They actually did
Like the one on the moon?
the Great Salt Lake. One side to the other. A foot off the water, you can still see that reflection clear as day. How do you explain that away? You don't. You get called a flat Earth dummy or whatever, but there's still no truth predicated to it.
This honestly isn't the first time that it's happened, though. I don't know if you know, I don't know if you guys know about ODD and the whole crew. He had a whole GoFundMe to go reach Antarctica, or not Antarctica. He actually had a whole psyop on, let's go to the North Pole because everyone's distracted about the South Pole. And then had a whole big old GoFundMe, and then everybody funded him, and then he pulled out, and nothing ever happened after that. It's like
what happened with the money?
Ask ODD. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I too.
Really?
He was at the
Yeah, ask him. What's his name? Matt Peralta.
Yeah, I don't know. Once he started rapping, I lost interest in that guy. He started selling stuff. I was like, I'm done. I'm out.
He did the same thing though, like on our side, which is kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, not embarrassing, but it's just non-credible. Like he had a whole GoFundMe to have a whole team to go to the North Pole to find out what's happening over there. And then like a month later, or a couple weeks later, I look at it and then there's nothing involved. He took down every single channel on it. He took down every video on it, and then it had nothing to exist. It's like the whole GoFundMe is BS to begin with, because you can do whatever you want with that money after you get it. You know what I mean?
That shouldn't be allowed. That's a ripoff.
Well,
to say, I need money in my broken foot, and it's like, well, you know what? My foot wasn't
honestly,
really broken, but I needed the money.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mean to call him out, but I will right now. He's done the same thing, like having his car broken down and asking people for money for a truck. Oh no, I need a work truck. And then homies are all saying, oh, well, there's plenty of money that you can just fund or have loaned out for a Ford Focus that's only a couple $1,000s. He's like, no, I need a $8,000 truck so I can go and do my HVAC systems and this and that or whatever. It's like, dude, I call BS when I see it.
I don't know. People use
we know.
that
I think we know that have been a lot of GoFundMe in the past that was just crap. We know very well there were some. Yeah, we don't want to go on talking crap, or let's change the subject.
Strikes for this now.
Yeah. I'll call out opposition by their name. It's all good.
All right, so we're gonna continue with our show. So we don't want to go in.
Question real quick: when is he supposed to be doing all this? When he accumulates the 1.5 million, it would take to.
In October.
He's shooting for October 20th.
October 20th.
So I wonder, are they gonna like CGI the hell out of this thing? Are they gonna do it live from his airport in the air? Fast forward? Are they gonna splice in times? You know what I mean? Like how are they gonna do all this?
He's gonna be a passenger. Who knows?
Yeah, that's not gonna work. That is not gonna prove shit.
And if he doesn't want to take any credit for being in the airlines, but he wants to take the credit for being a production manager, though, and by providing the production crew and the cameras, but nothing to do with the flight. Nothing but he'll take a seat. It's kind of backwards.
Yeah, because if he's having a budget, he should have how much fuel, how much is the cost of the airline. You can just say $1.5 million. This is no. Break it down. Flight, the crew charges, the fuel, the licenses, the permits, the stopovers, all the services every time you stop, the services at the departure, the services at the arrival, the air traffic control, everything, asshole. No, sorry guys.
Just like Rob Taylor said, though.
It just slipped out. Means there's so many things you need to in detail to show, break it down for that $1.5 million.
That's exactly
You can't
why
just give a round figure and say this is what you need. No, and but just showing a line on a Google Earth that this is how the flight is gonna go. I mean, I can't believe that people can be so full of crap.
Well, that's why I was asking specifically which route he would be taking, because you have some services you're gonna need Million Air fueling services or whoever it is. There, there's ways to get a hold of some of these places. Some of us have been all around the realm and know some of these people personally. Some have formed contracts when they had Part 119 operations. Some actually used those services. So I want to know how he thinks he's going to get from one to the other. I want to know who he's going through. And I want to know why Quantum again is not aware of this.
That's why I asked before
Exactly.
on our last podcast, like, who's funding this guy to begin with? Whenever I get sponsored, I brag about my sponsors via skateboarding or whatever. You know what I mean? But like, whenever you get sponsored by somebody, you should be showing them off.
That's
Why
a
did you go out
celebration
and
day,
take
isn't it?
sponsors?
Sure. Yeah, you throw
No,
some
he
skins.
wants us to sponsor him. Yeah, that's the best part. We don't have brains, and if we have the freaking $1.5 million to organize ourselves.
Hey, Victor, you throw me $1.5 million, I'll show you that route.
Oh yeah, yeah. We
Just a
we will show the route.
I'll even have it digitized on a computer.
Now, and it's very difficult that I say that in the end it's gonna be a false flag. So
It already is.
And we've already debunked it. Great job, guys.
I still want to know the difference between a straight line and a curve from there to there. From,
Well, again,
from
why would
Buenos Aires to Perth.
get from one?
Buenos Aires.
Why are you crossing two hemispheres? Why are you crossing the hemisphere twice?
Twice.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
why taking 36 hours if it's literally just a quarter way up on one side of your bowl to the other, just going over the bottom of it or around the bottom of it, if you will. And it would make no sense, right? It should take a few hours at best.
What
exactly,
flights
and
take
in the last one,
30?
yeah, and in the last one he was speaking about stopping over South Africa. So where is now South Africa in the route he's showing or the line he's showing? South Africa is not
Going
not
over,
near.
Greenland is 8.5 times smaller than South America. But if you look at any map a cartographer has drawn since the spread of Christianity, which is why you always see Europe in the middle of these maps, right? Ever since then, you see Greenland and damn near South America the same size. Well, there's only one way to project its true number, and that's to go with gradients, meaning that all of those lines of longitude we know go to zero, the center. Stop drawing them as parallel lines and start drawing them the way that they really should be. They go from zero out, and they spread as they continue on. And then you're going to get the true size of things like South America and Africa. And then you're going to realize real quick, it can't make sense on a ball to have Greenland and South America as the same size.
The differences are really dramatic.
Yeah, they're showing parallel lines, and it was to show Christianity spreading, which is why Alaska's on one side and Russia's way on the other. And you have Europe at the center. That's it. That's why the cartographer drew the map the way that they have, with these lines being parallel. It's to show, and how does Africa almost twice the size of Europe? Europe is dismal compared to Africa. I mean, they show these maps. I mean, what map is he showing that he's flying with? Because the aviator map's going to use the Gleason map. Essentially, It is an aviator.
Yeah, and True Man says in the chat, allegedly from Argentina, we can go to Antarctica without permission. Not so easy, brother. It's not so easy. The only place you can go from Argentina is this George Island in the south. and there you can watch some penguins and some icebergs, some glaciers. That's it.
Isn't it
But there
Georgia?
also you need some kind of,
Georgia
yeah,
Island?
yeah. Go ahead.
Isn't that the island they think they can go to, like King Edward Island, where the penguins are? That's about it.
Yeah, in the one near the Argentina is that one. That it's a territory, I think, of Argentina. That island, it's very near. It's called the George, and there's some amazing images there on the web too. It's you can see the landscape. Yeah, it's very like alpine kind of geography and in the summer. So that's the nearest that's allowed. But you really need permits. Some places you could go without permits, but you need that. Then some kind of control that who if you're trying to visit there. So
Did you guys
and
know
flying is
Go ahead.
go ahead, Kevin.
Did you guys know there's 3 different islands in Antarctica? One is named is Delta Island, one is named is Omicron Island, the other one is named Corona Nation.
Excellent.
These are all islands in Antarctica that have been hidden, or I'm not necessarily saying they're hidden. You can look them up right now. But what are the chances of our certain situations we're going through?
And how do they come
Right.
up with this stuff?
Yeah, exactly. And they had these. Sorry, Vikka. I'm trying to look for a better synonym to use.
Mm.
But if you've ever done the anagram thing, Delta and Omicron means media control. If
Yeah,
you
we
search
know.
on the letters.
Yeah.
And these are lands in
Yep.
Antarctica. There's one named Corona Nation in Antarctica as well. It's like, dude, this is a joke and a half.
I think David Bowie
Exactly.
was in a video game. Had something to do with some similarities.
Who?
20 years. I think David Bowie was in a video game that had similarities to what he's talking about, and 20 years ago or so. It's all predicted, though. It's if you look enough behind you, you'll see what's in front of you as well. Kinda.
I can give you one of my secrets, honestly. How I find the truth about things is you go to the origins.
Yeah.
Go to the origins, where,
Find a
when,
source.
how did it happen, and then you find the truth. You don't just fall victim of public opinion and just believe in what other people are saying or have given you information about. Go to the sources for yourself. When, where, and how did it happen? You can go to the origins. That's where you find the truth. That's my secret, anyway.
It's a good shortcut too, and a direct route to the source, Kevin, because it all comes out of the media somewhere, and that's all owned by 6 people. That's owned by 2 people, 2 corporations, and so it narrows down really quick. If you understand that, I suppose.
And definitely, I was trying to explain it to an 8-year-old yesterday, and I would love to go ahead and say it. Bilderberg Foundations, the Council of Foreign Relations, and the what is it? The Council of Foreign Relations, Bilderberg Foundations, and their Triangular Commissions. That's the origins of all these media productions to begin with.
Did you ever see that episode of Barney Miller?
Barney Miller.
Barney Miller.
Barney Miller.
Sorry. Yeah, Barney, like the dinosaur. Barney Miller was an old cop show from New York back in the 70s and the 80s. And there's an episode, I'll send it to you, Kevin, where they arrest the guy for breaking into a UNICEF place, and he's screaming about the Illuminati and the Bilderberg Group and this and that, Rockefeller, George First. And that was in 1981 when nobody ever heard about that stuff. So they use comedy to soften the blow when because it's coming. Boom, you're getting hit with this stuff, kind of. So and the devil has to announce himself.
It's kind of like
exactly we know
They Live nowadays.
Oh, sorry?
Oh yeah, so yeah, it's better we don't drift off too much from flat Earth. We're gonna take a short break and we're gonna come back. Let's see if true man, yeah, Robbie, if you wanna join us, we are still half the way of the show, so we're gonna take a break and we're gonna be
Thank you
right
so much.
back. All right, guys.
All
Appreciate
right,
you.
guys.
There is nothing you cannot be, there's nothing you cannot do, there's nothing you cannot have. You are the most magnificent, the most remarkable, the most splendid being God has ever created. Who could reject such wondrous magnificence? But you do not know who you are. And you think you are a great deal less. I tell you this, you are your own rule maker. You set the guidelines. And you decide how well you have done, how well you are doing. For you are the one who has decided who and what you really are, and who you want to be. The process of creation starts with thought, an idea, conception, visualization. Everything you see was once someone's idea. Nothing exists in your world that did not first exist as pure thought. Next comes the word. Everything you say is a thought expressed. It is created and sends forth creative energy into the universe. Next comes action. Actions are words moving. Words are thoughts expressed. Thoughts are ideas formed. Go first to your highest thought about yourself. Imagine the you that you would be if you lived that thought every day. Imagine what you would think, do, and say, and how you would respond to what others do and say. This whole process is a massive move to consciousness. What you will find out if you undertake this challenge is that you've spent half your life unconscious. That is to say, unaware on a conscious level of what you are choosing in the way of thoughts, words, and deeds until you experience the aftermath of them. Then when you experience these results, you deny that your thoughts, words, and deeds had anything to do with them.
I want to remind you to continue to dream and dream big.
All right, welcome back, guys. We are having today Jeannie Edited, Kevin Bobick, and Brett Freeman on the show joining us today. And anybody have any questions, you can leave us in the chat. So we were discussing today about Kelsey before on the show that he was tried his tricks again. We are right there asking for things that he needs to provide because he wants a lot of money to prove that the Earth is not flat.
Brett, I have a question for you. You there?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeannie. Maybe he.
All right. I'm just wondering, like, what exactly is it that a pilot will say takes care of not worrying about the curve of the Earth? How do they follow the curve in a straight line? In other words, how's that work, really?
I think that they're confused about their systems. They asked me about everything from ADHARS to EI, which is an electronic.
That's exactly right.
Based on man-made geographical or geopoints or whatever. The ADI itself cannot be manipulated, and it is the one true gyro that every pilot will ever use in the event that something goes wrong and he blacks out or the cockpit's full of smoke. He is looking at that. What am I oriented with, or what can I use to reference how my airplane is situated in the air? And that's always only, and it's level. It cannot be manipulated. If it could be manipulated, it wouldn't make a very good instrument to use as a reference in the event of an emergency. They don't give a damn about altitude in that moment, per se. They want to know, what is my aircraft up or down? Am I doing a perfect 1G dive? I don't know about it, and I don't feel it because I'm floating at the same speed. You know, I need to know where is it.
I was
So
gonna
I
ask
don't know.
that too. I was like, should I have pen and paper?
Oops, who was that?
I don't know.
I heard someone.
That was someone talking about
No,
pen
there's
and
one of my
paper.
buddies in the background. Yeah, one of my buddies in the
Oh.
background. He's taking notes.
Yeah, the ADS
Okay.
period, it'll always
Send
reference
them, send
level.
the notes over to me,
So
man.
think about this, right? And I've mentioned this the first time I ever got on one of the shows. If my aircraft was to take off vertically, meaning my nose was pointed straight up, that gauge is still referencing level. I'm not even going to see that gauge until I take off and level out in forward flight, as opposed to going straight up, because that gauge is already sitting parallel with the Earth, with sea level.
And by the way, that guy says in the video earlier that you sent, Vika, that he goes up, levels off, and flies straight. So that
Yeah, at 3 degrees nose up.
so he's contradicting his own claims.
Exactly, and Brett, before the invention of autopilot, did the pilot manually needed to compensate for curvature? Was it ever like that?
No, he's using the one true gyro, right? And this is an old whiskey compass. It's an old standalone compass. It's been around since aviation started. It's the one thing that has never changed, and now. Granted, most systems nowadays use it as a standby rather than the main one, right? They go with electronics and everything else. This does not use any of that. It doesn't need an electrical input. If your airplane had an electrical malfunction and bam, in the next minute, you're out of power. This is the one gauge you're going to use to fly that aircraft straight and level to your destination or wherever you think you need to land.
Yeah, or glide till you can to.
You're going to know if you're nose down or nose up. Like I said, the housing, meaning the aircraft itself, moves around that. When you pitch nose up, that gauge does not move. It's like a water bottle. Like I said, take a half-filled water bottle, and the cap is the nose. The gauge itself is the level of fluid inside of it, whether it's Coke or water. It don't matter. That is your gauge. If you're flying straight and level, that is going to be flat, straight and level inside the bottle, and the nose or the cap hitting half fluid, half nose. Tilt it up, and it does the same thing. The gauge didn't move, but the housing moved around it. A water bottle proves so many things, man. The water bottle, it kills so many of their little.
A lot of it, right? And
Exactly, and if you're gonna ask this serious question, for example, to the same pilot, for example, this Kelsey, hey, show us the whole flight, show us the instruments, how it's working, from where the GPS is going, show us all the VR points you are passing through. Yeah, set us the whole camera with the ADI just being level, and it's not going again once you change the hemisphere, it's going upside down and then again right side up, going back. You get what I'm saying? All these different. He won't. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I want to see the moment it switches from being right side up to upside down, but yet right side up with respect to where you are in the moment, but yet upside down to where you were when you took off. I mean, none of it makes sense. None of it adds up at all. I mean, halfway through a flight to Australia, at some point it's upside down, so you can land right side up. Show me at that moment when it's upside down with respect to me, who stayed here while you took off. How many hours away do you
exactly
have?
Even a quarter of the
way. Is it miles? Is it? Explain it to me.
Exactly, or show us the video of the whole flight. Exactly. Go ahead, Kevin.
So, Brett, I have to ask you, just because I know you have the credentials to know, what I've been told before from a Glober who probably didn't have half the credentials you have, there's a electronic mechanism that compensates for the curvature of Earth when it comes to your gyroscope and your ADI. BS, right?
Yes, it is a mechanical gyro. There is no electrical input in an ADI.
Exactly.
There is an EADI, which they have on a digital format screen like an MFD, multifunctional display, or a primary flight display. Pilot gets one, co-pilot usually gets the other. It's part of an electronic package. They have a flight director. It gets electronic signals based on pressure, altitude, VOR, GPS. They add HARs. If you're in the military, it's a TACAN. They've got all these different cute little devices. Now, let's fill the cockpit up with smoke, and boom, there's a fire in the cockpit, and we're going to need to land. But, I blacked out for a minute, and now I'm just getting to it. Okay, what am I going to use to situate? I'm on fire. All my electronics are going hazy. Are you going to use your EADI now?
Shot.
What you going to use? How do I know if I'm
Good point.
going down into a mountain or if I'm literally trying to stall out going straight up? The ADI does not fly. It does not sway. It doesn't know if you took off from England and went 1,000 miles upside down. It doesn't
It
care.
sounds like the Terminator.
Because the gauge will be
And yeah,
rolled over.
exactly. And answering to what Kevin was saying, one of the main argument, Kevin, is that the compensation, the autopilot is doing this compensation because the pressure is constant at that height. That's why it's changing, it's compensating. Yeah, that's what the excuse is. That's one of the main arguments.
Yeah.
They literally have to do
yes, sir.
the relative pressure. Do they not? Do you not have a standard day, which is 29.92? And then they go outside and they do their OAT. They get the altitude density. They get the standard pressures. It's not a known that at 32,000 feet, it's going to be X amount of bars.
Yeah, exactly. It fluctuates so greatly up there.
It varies every day. The standard day is 29.92. That's what they're trying to set it to. That would be a perfect day.
But isn't that on the ground though?
Yes. Yeah, they're setting all this on the ground.
So that's a big difference, right?
Not
Isn't
the
that a big
troposphere,
difference?
stratosphere, methosphere.
Right. Nah, it's
exactly.
It comes down to E equals MC squared just being confusing and nonsensical.
Do understand the ADI does not know how far you are flying. So how does it know to compensate for anything? It doesn't know where you are. It doesn't know how high you are.
Yeah, it's like a crystal ball.
Or 37,000 feet off the ground doing RSVMs. It does not know. It does not have an electronic input. It doesn't have anything. The only thing that it has that's electrical was a little light. And trust me, when you remove some of these, you break it every time. It has a little light attached to it so you can see it at night. That's it.
I had to ask, Brett. I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's like a part 60 light bulb. I can't remember what it is. It's such a 663 light bulb or something. It's a 327 bulb. I mean, look that thing out. It's just ridiculous. And they do break. But granted, a lot of systems are digital. But the ADI
Again, apart from ADI, yeah, Brett, apart from ADI, okay, showing us a video of the whole flight of the instruments, apart from the ADI, we have got the GPS, which shows the exact map you're flying above, exactly, and the route. And also there's the next thing, they can show us the whole video, of the instruments. And
show exactly where they are with respect to direction. But see, we always know about how everything points to center, meaning north, and they'll say that east and west is the straight line, which we know that's bullshit too. But that's how they manifest this thing, right? Like they laugh at us when we say east and west is not a straight line. It's a concentric circle around north, right? It's a circle around north. It's
right
at all times. If you're going to be 7,992 miles away from center, we call it the equator. Walk it in, and it's a smaller circle. Walk it out, you get towards the topic of Capricorn. But east and west is not a straight line. Now, using the HSI, yeah, he could show that on a video, and they can easily manipulate. Well, we're over, Africa at this point, or wherever the hell they're saying they're flying, or they're going over the South Pole. But they can easily, I not say CGI, but program in where these geo coordinates are, because it's their software, it's their video.
Right.
So that
So they can say whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly. They can say they're over the South right now, and they're in Greenland or some shit,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. And what about the same thing goes for the VOR points, the waypoints, the checkpoints? Because if there have to be a route, some route in a way of checkpoints, even on the ocean. Once you're flying, you have to fly some kind of, even if you are flying on dead reckoning, so
I am sure
there have to be some pattern. Yeah.
On like Flight Aware. There's several others, but I mean, we've even had aircraft that showed up on that sometimes. But I'm sure we could probably find that flight. And granted, it can be manipulated. I mean, they track Santa every year, and the ISS continues to be tracked.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We know.
Track Santa.
I always laugh when I bring that up.
So what point do you need those instruments? How fast do you have to be flying for it to be automatic? So if you're in a little Cessna, how does that follow the curve? Is it just too slow that it does it automatically?
Just a damn good question. I mean, if any of them did it at all, I would like to know how they did.
Yeah, seriously. Right, because not most of these conversations go into the faster jets, which a little, I don't know.
Coriolis under a bullet as opposed to a hot air balloon talk?
Yeah, right, exactly. Or a helicopter sitting there. And Brett, we brought up something really cool last week about how, all right, let's, they say that everything we're doing is trapped in the atmosphere. That's why things work, because it's all moving in space, and the Earth traps the atmosphere, and the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's called the theory of relativity. Well, you just debunked Coriolis, but go ahead.
So all right, so that can equate to that can equate to throwing a ball in, and you're going in a car. Hold on, stop. You're in a car doing 60.
All right, go.
Lands right back in your hand. So now there's a fly in the car.
Inertia.
Doing 60, and the fly flies out of the window. Can the fly catch back up to the car? So that equates to
it's a contained system to begin
leaving
with.
the atmosphere.
Go ahead, sorry.
That's all right. That's trying to equate a spaceship leaving the atmosphere, because now everything's trapped in the atmosphere first now, right? Until the spaceship leaves. Now, when do we lose that momentum with the atmosphere? Because if we don't, then how does that work? Serious, because the ISS is outside the atmosphere, but the Earth never leaves. So when
don't they have it always? Like, the Earth is spinning and everything is relative to it.
They want everything both ways. Yes, exactly. All right, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of narrowing it down to ultimately. No, I'm just looking for reasonable answers on how this stuff works, though, is why I bring it up, because that does not work both ways. And there is no
reason. The simple answer is that we don't have to deal with the fancy math. We don't have to deal with formulas to solve formulas for shit that doesn't exist. Flat earthers don't have to deal with all of that bullshit, because it's not
true.
We know
that's what I meant before.
More or less, like,
I don't need the proof for the flat Earth. I want proof for the globe, and they can't provide that.
Exactly. And then that is a very true statement. Like I said, you just said it's all relative. To any glober, I would say you just debunked your own shit called Coriolis. I don't have either one. I don't have relativity or Coriolis, because we ain't fucking spinning. We ain't spinning.
God, just so the audience, everybody in listening knows that the Coriolis is the effect that the spin of the Earth has on objects moving within it in the atmosphere. Okay, and so a hot air balloon can sit in the atmosphere and not have the Earth spin underneath it. So right? The hot air balloon just sits right over that Mark X, and Mark X never moves. But they claim that the Coriolis does, that X will move underneath the speeding bullet.
Okay, and I'll
Right?
elaborate on this. You have a waterfall. The water coming off the top of the falls takes 3 seconds to hit the bottom. In that 3 second time span, it should have moved 1,755 feet to the west because it's spinning from west to east, right?
At the equator.
Right, if you're looking at it. So it should land 1,755 feet to the west of the spot in the moment where that water came off the falls for every second. After 3 seconds, that would be a mile. That would be one weird ass looking waterfall, bro. It would be
And
almost.
same goes with the smoke. Same goes with the volcano eruptions, you know. So the volcano
All of
eruptions
these
could be
things.
hours.
These are all these things they want both ways.
Before, with a 3 second lead time, having to lead a target by a mile, and just pray that he just runs into the bullet as he shoots it. And that would be a perfect east to west trajectory, meaning that he's facing either north or south. What if he is facing east and shoots that bullet, and the target's running away from him? Well, now it should be a mile from where he's aiming at that moment. See, that's the beautiful thing about it. You guys can't have it all ways. And I love the one where, you know, underneath an object that's moving, the Earth is rotating. Okay, I'm in my Cessna 182 coming in at 60 knots on a northerly trajectory. Well, goddamn airport's flying from west to east at, you know, 1,755 feet a second. How the hell am I going to land this thing?
No, that's the atmosphere thing that has you trapped there, right?
Yeah,
So
they have
none of that,
all ways, right?
none of that angular momentum means anything, because we're just being like in a cosmic drift of sorts.
Well, I know the merry-go-round spins, and I don't want to get on if it's too fast because I'll spin my ass off of it, and my body knows that I'm on it. Just like the Gravitron, I know I'm on that. How do you not know that you're upside down in an airplane on your way halfway to Australia? How does your body?
There was exactly, and that was one of the main points of that pilot from Holland. You know, that made everybody question too, in a way. You know, where is the exact point that it flips? And the same question I have for the same thing: at what exact point that the Earth starts to curve? You know, because there's a horizon we see from the 45,000 feet that is flat, and from 400 kilometers from ISS we see it curve. So what point exact? There had to be a point, right?
What's
or
the
no?
ISS?
There had to be a point, no, between no curve and curve. Some point.
It never tapers
Or it just
off.
happens in a click. It just happens in a click clock, you know, from flat to
Flat Earther over for the first time. I just met them today, but we just had a little get together. But one of the things that was brought up by a non-flat earther was, well, I used to jump out of the airplanes when I was in the Army, and I could see the curve of my own eyes. I said, no, what you can only see is the limit. You can only see so far in front of you in each direction, whether you're looking left, behind you. She's like, well, I can see 360. I said, yeah, you can see 360 in an airplane too if you're looking out the windows, and you know, you turn it around and go back the other direction, but you're still only seeing so far in front of you. But I bet you the horizon is at your eye level, no matter where you're at, no matter what your altitude is. And you know, it didn't resolve anything, but at what point do you feel it when you first take off? You feel yourself get jerked back into the seat because momentum is carrying you or carrying the plane forward. So it's throwing you into the seat. The minute your ass gets in turbulence, all of y'all are grabbing them things for dear life because there is something that your body is acknowledging that is out of the norm. And I can guarantee you, turn that damn thing upside down and tell me you don't feel it.
Exactly. The horizon always appears completely flat, 360 degrees to the observer, regardless of how high you go up. Any curvature you think you see is from curved airplane windows or GoPro cameras and fisheye lens, which NASA loves to use. The reality is that the horizon never curves because we are on an endless plane. On a globe with 25,000 miles in circumference, you would see a noticeable disappearance of object. The further they are, they would be
Immediately,
leaning away from you and dropping below the constant curving horizon.
yes, and you would.
True. You
The
know,
higher you
we
went, the faster
we
you.
they're making claims. We make more of an observation. It's not a claim to say the Earth is flat. It's an observation. It's more of a claim to say it's curved.
Exactly.
Right? I think so. It's that's what I mean. I don't want to prove. I don't have to prove the
And
flat Earth. You got to prove the globe for
exactly,
me because they're just full of. They're full of it. They're lying. And look at where it comes from. Kevin was saying you got to look at the source, and it's always going back to the same places, the same people doing the same stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I'd
So
and
love to.
if some people are saying that they see curve, for example, Brett, you were saying that your friend who did parachute or skydiving saw, he says he saw the curve. There are times that you could see like kind of a curve, but there's nothing. That's the light, the magnetism. It's playing. It shows like a little bit of curve, but that's the light only. It's not any physical curvature. People do
No.
mistake that.
So what I
You
think
know
it is,
what I'm saying? When the sun is very close to the horizon or below the horizon, that curvature kind of thing is the magnetic fields of the light and the sun from the earth. So that's what it looks like it's bending, but there is no curvature. There is no
now
physical curvature.
when your field of vision isn't obstructed by a mountain or a house or something relatively close to you, and you're above all that, you can still only see so far 360, right? Let's just say that field of view is, let's just say on a clear day at that altitude, let's just say it's 100 miles. Because
you can,
in Colorado, I've been able to see the Rocky Mountains from quite a distance, and again, that proves to me that while
that's
I can
too far to see on this ball, though. 100 miles is too far on this ball. No
yeah,
matter how clear it is, no matter
right.
where you,
But when
I
you're
don't
up
know.
that high,
You
let's
got
just
to
say,
be on top of that mountain to see anything 100 miles away, I think. So, I don't know.
when I'm in my airplane and I jump out or whatever,
Jump
if
out with a
I'm not
tape, see how
obstructed
high
by all
you
the
are.
dumb shit, I can still only see so far. But
Right.
looking at it from straight forward to the left, it may appear as if I'm seeing a curve, but obviously we know that it's level, it's flat. You may see obstructions like topographical features, mountains, buildings, whatever the hell might be in the way. A lot of people see sunsets
Buildings.
and they'll say the sun doesn't change in size over. Well, yeah, you just saw it go behind the mountain. The sun doesn't set truly where you are for another 2 hours, but your sunset is right now because you got a mountain between you and actual no shit level zero elevation Earth. Like anybody at the beach. But I mean, I think she was talking about when she looks from left to right when she was up there, kind of thing. She's talking about being a ball, and it's obviously she's just looking from left to right. It's still level when you look down the beach line. It's still level when you go up.
Exactly,
Nothing.
Brett. The same way as you say that the horizon rises to the eye level. So everything that is before the horizon will rise also to your eyes level, no matter what height you are. That you could be on a mountain top, or you could see a mountain in front of you. That mountain is gonna rise up to your eye level, because be it any object or no object, it's always gonna, and my calculation is around 20 degrees. If you're on a beach, that water you are seeing and that ship going beyond, because that horizon is rising to your eye level. So I think everything below 20 degree, even if you're seeing a sunset, once it goes below 20 degree, you cannot see it, because that's not any curvature. That's just because the horizon is rising up to
Yeah,
your
the
eye
ground comes
level
up as
because of
well, right?
exactly that's what will happen.
Yeah.
The perspective of up, like the artists use, from like a point of vanishing point, which goes all merging to one point, so
Just like a long hallway. The ground comes up to the middle, the top comes down to the middle, and the sides go equally towards the middle to your vanishing point. with a 0 point of vision.
Exactly.
So here's a question though. Now, I mean, how do you? So if you can only see so far, how do you see the moon then? Right? And just because it's nothing else to see?
Air
I don't
density.
know.
The higher
Sorry?
you go in altitude, the air density changes, so you can see further through it than you could at a lower altitude with more density molecules.
Oh, that's right. That's perfect. It's just straight ahead.
No
And it's
obstruction.
never really
That's
obscured out of the vision. Right. It's
exactly
never obscured
That's why we
enough.
can see further across than we can see further um, looking at the stars and the moons and the luminaries ahead. We can't see further across towards Japan or China because the density of the air molecules get a lot denser.
Right.
So you can't see through them. But if you look up, the density
Inclusion is less.
A lot has to do with atmospheric lensing as well. But yes.
I love it when they talk about why can't I see China. I tell them, just like somebody suggested just a minute ago, the hallway in a casino. I'll go to the other end. I'm going to hold up 3 random objects. You tell me what they are. And when you can't do so, I'm going to call you dumb for thinking you can see China 12,000 miles away, which is, we know, damn near further than that. But you can't see what's at the end of the hallway. Stop being stupid.
Once something is less than 20% of its own diameter, it vanishes from your view. I think that's the formula.
Let alone refraction magnifies the vision to begin with. So if you have refraction, it's going to make the object appear a lot more bigger than it was.
Like the sun. That's why sometimes it doesn't look like it gets smaller. But
Bang.
it does.
Bang. Sunsets.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, what I wanted to add, you guys know about that photography, the longest photography record from a mountain to a mountain from Spain to France? You guys heard about that, right? It's 443 kilometers.
Right.
How far?
You know,
you guys
right?
know. Yeah. What, Brett?
How far are you saying?
443 kilometers line of sight from a mountaintop to a mountaintop. Yeah, and that mountaintop is not even 2 kilometers high.
Yeah, I
Each
think
one?
they broke that record.
Sorry?
I think somebody in Australia recently just broke that record for the longest recorded picture or longest recorded photograph between 2 different objects. You know, that you can actually prove it is. It's a mountain range, but I think it's further than that.
Yeah, so what I mean to say, Brett, is that if you're seeing 443 kilometers, I don't know if it's around 280 or 300 miles, I don't know. From a mountaintop, okay, that's not even 2 to 3 kilometers high, and you are having that line of sight of or plus 300 miles. So how long you should see from 45,000 feet, if it's possible, if the conditions are right, or to an IR filter or whatever. How long should be the vision? Because these people say that from a cruising altitude is maximum the pilot can see is 100 miles. That's totally wrong and totally lie.
Definitely wrong. That's a question. I don't have a scale for that. I haven't done my geometric equation for the day.
Yeah, I just what I meant was this, no, in the end, that it's the people cannot imagine how far you can see, because you cannot really say that it's 100 miles. It's impossible, because from a mountaintop you're seeing so far, so you have to see really far if there is an object that's that huge that could be possible to be seen, so
because think about somebody taking off from the Denver International Airport, right? It's basically almost one continuous city from all of Colorado Springs to the northern side of Denver. And I can guarantee you at that altitude, you're going to see well beyond both sides of those cities. But I promise you, it's almost 100 damn miles from one side of Colorado Springs to the other side of Denver. But the minute you remotely get up in altitude, you can clearly see well beyond that. I mean, think about traveling into any country. You're seeing multiple cities at night before you even get to the airport that you're landing at.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Right. Yeah, I've flown a lot, seen crazy things too. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, do you know about this sighting with it was an army site, Air Force. I think it was SR-71. I think so, if I'm right. And they see the Rockies from, I think, from Canada or something. Have you heard about it, Kevin or Jeannie? I saw that a few years back.
Not off the top of my
It was.
head.
Video, right, where the guy's talking about it, about how you can see.
Yeah. We're seeing Rockies
Yeah.
from way away from Canada, more than 1,000 miles or something. That was a few years back. I don't know. You heard about it, right, Brett?
Yes, I have actually heard this. There were several stories that he told about flying in the SR-71, about the speed, about the height, things he could see. Yeah, I think I've heard this video.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are evidences if you really dig into it. And there are some flight that went to 240,000 feet, also totally level. So it's crazy stuff that it's it's so many in Europe here, so many. You can see the Ibiza, you can see the islands, from Barcelona. It's so many stuff from here, from the south. You can see Morocco, like, even the coasts of Morocco all the way down. So
And these are places from land to land, right? Not across any bodies of water. Is that right? You're mostly talking about
no,
right now?
here we are speaking about a body of water in the middle, seas,
Yeah.
Mediterranean Sea, and
Right. Well, that's perfectly flat, isn't it? Kind of. You guys prove that already? That the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, and the Mediterranean is like 3,400 miles of flat. There's no curve anywhere around in that stretch of.
They're inland, and they're trying to get it. The boats over a plot of land. There's no, lock systems.
Right, 120 miles of the Suez Canal with 0 locks. That's level.
But
How
that's
else
the water.
How else do you say that? What else do you want, right? That's not only that, though, but the 2 bodies of water that it connects is really important. And Vikka's video shows that. I just lost my audio. I can't hear you guys.
oh, we can hear you.
There you go. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. But that's something else I'll put on my Facebook, guys. Is Vikka's video of the Mediterranean from past the Suez Canal, right? All right, you're over the Red Sea.
Exactly, and you can see the whole, like, Mediterranean. You're flying about Red Sea, and you can see the whole canal, and there are no locks, and you can see literally, like, man, this is where is the curvature? There are 2 huge bodies of water and a canal connecting them. Where is your curve?
Exactly.
Where is your curve? The water or the water is climbing, or the water is flowing down.
I don't understand how this is not getting across to people, that they're just, maybe they're not interested, or.
So I got a question too. I know that they're talking about global warming and the ice is melting.
Yeah, right.
Ice melts and the cup overflows? Because I haven't. I've seen a cup sweat. But ice is the expansion of water due to the air.
10%, yeah.
The water that would actually come from the ice would be less than the volume of the ice itself. So
Right.
Ain't no water levels rising anytime soon, guys. It's clear to go ahead and buy that beachfront property.
No, you know what? Exactly, Brett, because they would never be mortgaging properties off at the cost that these places.
The insurance companies would
never be doing it. So that story for me is over.
So if you guys are old enough, if you remember, I was probably about 10 years old at the time, but they were trying to sell the great breeze, right? Like the great polar vortex are coming, and we're going through global freezing. But it didn't sell very well. It wasn't a very big seller.
What
Well,
was this
of
now?
course,
What'd
now
you
you got
say?
Greta Thunberg, who's like 8 years old at the time, telling us grown folk about global warming and yeah, shut up, bitch. But the rising water levels, and everything's off of mean sea level, let alone AGL, which is the above ground level. In aircraft, they use mean sea level. For terrain, they use, that's how they map their stuff. And I don't know how they're going to survive if all of these things are happening and they're spinning. And, one thing I wanted to hit on real quick, though. So when we do weight and balance on aircraft, they literally want a geo point to do the weight, saying that you weigh something different in certain places. Now I don't know how that works specifically, but I can tell you it's not due to spinning, because I don't know how it would work at the axis points if you weighed your aircraft as opposed to at the equator. But I imagine you'd have to be selling me some pretty good stuff to think that this aircraft's going to weigh that much more, that much less at the axis point of your spinning Earth than it would at the equator. Well, 23 degrees off the equator, but 90 degrees off of the axis points. And, that's another selling point that they keep doing. But I'm going to go for now. But that whole spinning at the axis point, 66.6 degrees off, NASA's, somebody talked about the origins earlier, needs to deceive. Stop it. Let's get that out, and let's end all that Nashua bullshit. Let's expose it all. You guys take care. I'm
Good to
out.
see you, Brett.
Yep.
But yeah,
Thanks
Yeah,
for coming in,
we're gonna
brother.
be having our last words too. So yeah, we already almost up for tonight's shows, because I was mentioning Kevin also that we're gonna be not be having a very long show tonight. So yep. Thanks for passing by, Brett. It was great to
no
have
worries,
you. Yep.
guys. I learn more
Brett, I
every day.
appreciate
So
you.
no worries. Y'all take it easy, and maybe next weekend. Have a
Excellent.
good
Have a
one.
good
All
week, brother.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So yep. Kenny, Jeannie, and Kevin. Yep. Wants to go ahead. Last words, and we're gonna wrap up.
I'll go, Kevin. It's good to see you, buddy. I hope everything's all right over there. And Vika, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here. Always a lot of fun. Always looking forward. It was a good conversation tonight. I hope everybody in the audience is doing well and have fun. And we'll see you soon. Thanks, Vika.
Thanks, Jeannie, for coming,
Excellent.
passing by, brother. It was great to have you too, brother. Yep, we could have continued for much long, but yep, yeah. So we're gonna do next week. Thank you, brother.
Thanks for holding these hours. Everybody knows, I don't know where you're from, but Vika's holding some late hours to do this for us. And I'd like to say I appreciate it. Really do. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
For sure. My turn.
Yes.
Yes, Kevin.
Rest in peace, the globe, yet again. I give Jesus Christ all the glory. It's not my ways, it's his ways. Other than that, shout out to Eddie, shout out to Vicka, shout out to Jeannie, shout out to Rob, shout out to Brett. Everybody that's been a part of this team has been amazing to begin with. So I really appreciate you guys. You guys keep my head above float. So asking you shall receive, knocking the door be open, seeking you shall find. I love all you guys with its entirety. So you know what I mean? You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And if you guys need anything, just ask. And I appreciate you specifically, Vecca, the guru of the Flat Earth movement right now. I appreciate you with its entirety and how you keep my head above float, and particularly. But thank you for having me on the show, and I appreciate every one of you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Kevin. It was so great always to have you too, brother. But finally, we have Eddie joined us just in the last moment. Eddie, we are almost wrapping up. You missed it, brother. We were shredding Cassie apart already.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, guys from Japan. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Rob, Jean, and
Hi,
Vika. I'm
Eddie.
sorry I'm late, but it's Monday morning. Wake up with a lot of things to do, a lot of messages. And I saw this one about Kelsey. And yeah, well, $1.5 million to fly people over, which they will not be able to do it. So that's crazy.
Yeah, so we were discussing it. So when you can watch the show, we were quite discussing in details. He have nothing. He just showing us something on a globe, one line, and he wants $1.5 million. That's
Yeah,
great.
and he said he's not even being able to fly the route. Other people will
He wants to be a
program for
passenger.
him. And I mean, he said nothing. It was a 11 minutes video. He said nothing. You know.
Nothing, nothing.
No,
Yeah.
Eddie, we was saying that he's a pilot, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to provide anything having to do with the flight or anything with it at all. But he'll provide the production
Exactly.
crew. I thought that was
Yep.
kind of funny.
Yeah. So I'm sorry I'm late, but it's Monday morning here. Got a lot of things to do. I wake up with a lot of messages, and but I don't know. When this time zone goes back to normal, it'll be a little bit better for me.
Yep, let's see. And maybe in the summer, maybe in a month time, maybe I'll be doing a little bit more late the show because the summer timetable because of the work. So I come back late,
Okay.
so I would be able to. So maybe I could do maybe at this hour we could start and go on for a couple of hours. So let's
Okay.
see how
All
it goes.
right.
Thanks for passing by,
Okay.
Eddie, and
All right.
yeah, and we see if we can make up some more video against this. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff discussed today already in the show. So yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
look
I will go
forward.
back and listen to the show. My channel is on strike. I can't upload anything for 2 weeks, but we'll be back.
Sorry
All
about that
right,
strike,
all
Eddie.
right.
Yeah. Second strike.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Uh,
Take care. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's important to just relax, and let the pass the day so you don't get a three strike in a row. So we know how's it
Right.
going. And even RTS, I was commenting in the show that even RTS, we are trying to do the streaming uh, through RTS directly and not YouTube. That maybe in the future it's possible. So let's see how that goes. So yep. All right,
Okay.
guys. Thank you for being here and everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, guys. So let's see what we have for our next week. This is Vikka Draziv signing out from HelioPsychosis podcast. Bye, guys. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night.
Night.